The giant crystal towers of Nexus Prime reached up into the purple sky like frozen lightning. Inside the biggest tower, 12 different alien races sat around a massive circular table. Each race had their own section, with strange lights and weird air that kept them alive. The meeting room was so big that a human football field could fit inside it 3 times over. Ambassador Veltar from the Zephyrian Empire stood up on his 4 legs. His blue skin glowed with anger, and all 4 of his arms moved as he talked. The machine around his neck changed his words into sounds the other aliens could understand. The humans think they can scare us with 1 ship? Veltar's voice echoed through the huge room. We have so many ships that they block out the light from stars. Our plasma weapons can melt entire moons. What can 1 human ship do against all of us? The other aliens made sounds that meant they were laughing. The Korthak looked like giant bugs with sharp teeth. They clicked their mouths together in a way that sounded like breaking glass. The Viridian Collective were made of energy and light. They flickered and danced to show they thought it was funny too. Commander Rixoth from the Korthak hegemony spoke next. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. Humans are still new to space travel. Their biggest ships are smaller than our scout vessels. They use old fusion engines while we have quantum drives. This is not a fight, this is a joke. In the center of the room, a blue light formed the shape of a human man. The hologram was clear enough to see the lines on his face and the gray in his hair. This was Jake Morrison, the only human representative at the meeting. He wore a simple blue uniform with Earth's flag on his shoulder. Jake had been standing quietly while the aliens laughed at his people. His face showed no fear, no anger, no worry. He just waited. When the noise finally stopped, he spoke in a calm voice. The ship will arrive in 72 hours. We recommend you prepare accordingly. The aliens burst into even louder laughter. Some of them hit the table with their claws, tentacles, or whatever they used for hands. The sound was so loud it hurt to hear. Veltar wiped tears from his large black eyes. Prepare for what? 1 human ship against 12 fleets? We have over 10,000 warships ready to fight. Your entire human space force has maybe 50 ships total. Jake looked directly at the Zephyrian ambassador. You gave us a choice. Submit to your rule or face the consequences. We choose to face the consequences. With 1 ship? Commander Rixoth's laugh sounded like a saw cutting metal. Humans truly are as stupid as they are weak. The hologram of Jake Morrison flickered once, then disappeared. The aliens continued laughing and talking among themselves for several more minutes. They had never seen such foolishness. Every other race in the galaxy had either joined the Galactic Council willingly or been forced to join after losing a war. No one had ever been dumb enough to fight back with just 1 ship. Far away from Nexus Prime, in the cold darkness of space near Earth's moon, Admiral Lucy Kane sat in the captain's chair of the UES Defiance. The ship was huge, nearly 2 miles long, but it looked strange compared to other human vessels. Its hull was completely black and seemed to eat light instead of reflecting it. No windows could be seen anywhere on its surface. Lucy was 55 years old and had spent her entire adult life in Earth's space navy. She had fought pirates, explored new solar systems, and commanded some of humanity's best ships. But nothing had prepared her for this moment. Admiral, all systems show green across the board. Chief Engineer Alex Turner reported from his station. Alex was a thin man with messy brown hair who looked more like a college professor than a military officer. But he was the smartest engineer Lucy had ever worked with. Navigation confirms jump coordinates are locked in, said Navigation Officer Lisa Park. Lisa was young, only 28, but she could plot a course through space better than anyone else in the fleet. Weapons systems are ready. Weapons specialist. Ryan Cross added. Ryan was a big man with scars on his hands from working with dangerous technology. He had designed some of the systems himself. Lucy looked around the bridge at her crew of 200. These were Earth's best people. Engineers who had built impossible machines. Scientists who had discovered new laws of physics. Soldiers who had trained for years for this one mission. The Defiance was not like any other ship ever built. While the galaxy thought humans were still struggling with basic space travel, Earth's smartest people had been working in secret for 15 years. They had built something that would change everything. Communications, open a channel to Earth Command, Lucy ordered. Communications officer Beth Collins, a red-haired woman with quick fingers, pressed several buttons on her console. Channel open, Admiral. Earth Command, this is Admiral Kane aboard. The Defiance. We are ready to begin our mission. The voice of General Mike Stevens came through the speakers. He was sitting in a bunker deep underground on Earth, surrounded by screens showing every human colony and ship in space. Admiral, the entire planet is counting on you and your crew. Show them what humans can do when we work together. Lucy smiled for the first time in days. We will, sir. Defiance out. She looked at her crew one more time. In 3 days they would arrive at Nexus Prime. The aliens expected to see a small human ship that they could destroy easily. Instead, they would meet something that would shock the entire galaxy. All hands prepare for quantum jump, Lucy announced over the ship's speakers. The Defiance began to hum with power. Energy flowed through systems that the galaxy's greatest scientists could not even imagine. Space around the ship started to bend and twist in ways that should have been impossible. Lucy Kane had one job: show the galaxy that humans would never bow to anyone. The aliens thought one ship was a joke. Soon they would learn that sometimes one ship is all you need. The space around Nexus Prime was filled with warships. Thousands of them floated in perfect formations, their weapons pointed at the empty spot where the human ship was supposed to appear. The Zephyrian Empire had brought their biggest plasma destroyers. The Korthak hegemony showed off their massive battlecruisers that looked like flying mountains. Even the peaceful Viridian Collective had sent their energy ships that glowed like small suns. Fleet Commander Thexan sat in his command chair aboard the Korthak flagship. He was huge even for his species, with black armor covering his bug-like body. His ship was 3 miles long and carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Around him, 300 Korthak vessels waited for orders. All ships report ready. His weapons officer clicked in the Korthak language. Plasma cannons charged to full power, missile tubes loaded, shield generators at maximum. Thexan looked at the clock on his main screen. 2 minutes until the humans were supposed to arrive. He almost felt sorry for them. Almost. On the bridge of a Zephyrian destroyer, Captain Yelmoth checked his sensor readings one more time. His 4 eyes could see in different types of light, and his ship's computers could detect anything within 1,000,000 miles. Everything was quiet. Empty space waited for the foolish humans. Sir, should we prepare the capture nets? His first officer asked. Maybe the humans will surrender when they see our fleet. Yelmoth laughed. Prepare everything. We will give them one chance to give up. If they refuse, we destroy them quickly. I want this over fast so we can go home. The countdown reached 0. Every alien eye, sensor, and camera pointed at the spot where the human ship should appear. Space was empty. Nothing happened. Then reality started to break. Space itself seemed to fold in half, then unfold like someone was folding paper. Colors that had no names appeared and disappeared. The stars in the background twisted into impossible shapes. Even the veteran commanders who had seen thousands of space jumps had never witnessed anything like this. The UES Defiance came out of the fold in space like a dark blade cutting through the universe. It was massive, almost 2 miles long, but that was not what made every alien on every ship stop breathing. The ship was there. They could see it with their eyes, a long black shape against the stars, but their sensors showed nothing. Empty space, no heat signature, no energy readings, no mass detection. According to every computer system in the combined fleets, there was nothing there. What is happening? Thexan roared at his sensor officer. Why can't we detect them? The bug-like alien's claws clicked nervously on his controls. Sir, all systems show normal operation, but they are not reading the human ship. It is like it does not exist. On a Zephyrian destroyer, Captain Yelmoth stared at his screens in confusion. Run full diagnostics on all sensor arrays. This must be a malfunction. Sir, diagnostics complete. All systems working perfectly. The human ship simply does not register on any detection method. Admiral Lucy Kane sat calmly on the bridge of the Defiance. She looked at the thousands of alien ships surrounding her vessel and smiled. They looked dangerous with all their weapons and shields, but she knew something they did not. "Communications, open a channel to all ships in the system," she ordered. Beth Collins pressed several buttons. "Channel open, Admiral. You are broadcasting to every vessel in the Nexus Prime system." Lucy stood up and smoothed her uniform. When she spoke, her voice was calm and professional, like she was discussing the weather instead of facing the combined military might of 12 alien civilizations. "This is Admiral Lucy Kane of the United Earthship Defiance. We received your ultimatum. Here is our response." Thexan could not believe what he was hearing. One human woman surrounded by thousands of warships, speaking like she was in charge. His mandibles clicked with rage. "Open fire," he screamed at his weapons officer. The alien pressed the firing button. Nothing happened. He pressed it again. Still nothing. The plasma cannons that could melt asteroids would not work. "Sir, weapons are not responding. Trying backup systems." The officer's claws moved frantically over his controls. "Sir, backup systems also not responding. Primary weapons offline. Secondary weapons offline. All weapons completely dead." Across the system, the same thing was happening on every alien ship. Captains screamed orders. Engineers ran to fix problems that should not exist. Weapons that had worked perfectly just minutes before refused to fire. But it was not just weapons. Engines shut down. Ships that had been moving stopped in space. Shield generators that protected the vessels from attack went dark. Life support still worked. Emergency lights still glowed, but everything else stopped. Fleet Commander Thexan felt fear for the first time in his long military career. His flagship, the pride of the Korthak Navy, was floating helplessly in space like a piece of junk. "Engine room, report," he shouted into his communicator. "Sir, engines are completely dead. We are trying to restart them, but nothing works. It is like someone turned off a switch." Captain Yelmoth was having the same problem on his destroyer. How is this possible? What kind of weapon can shut down our systems without damaging them? The answer came from the human ship. Beth Collins established individual communication links with every fleet commander in the system. Her voice was polite, almost friendly, as she delivered a message that would haunt their nightmares for years. "Your weapons are temporarily disabled. This is a demonstration, not an attack. We came to talk." Admiral Kane watched the thousands of alien ships floating helplessly around her vessel. The Defiance had not fired a single shot, had not launched one missile, had not even raised its shields. It had simply turned off every dangerous system on every enemy ship in the entire solar system. "Navigation. Hold position," Lucy ordered. "Let them think about what just happened." Lisa Park checked her instruments. "Holding position, Admiral. All alien vessels are dead in space." Ryan Cross reported from the weapons station. "Admiral, we are detecting frantic communications between the alien fleets. They are trying to understand what we did to them." Lucy nodded. The first part of her mission was complete. The galaxy had expected to see a small human ship that they could destroy easily. Instead, they found something that could disable their entire combined fleet without breaking a sweat. "Give them 10 minutes to figure out that they are completely helpless," Lucy said. "Then we will explain what humanity has been doing for the past 50 years. The UES Defiance hung in space like a predator surrounded by sleeping prey, while the greatest military forces in the galaxy tried desperately to understand how one human ship had just defeated them all. The Galactic Council meeting room had never been so quiet. The 12 alien races sat in stunned silence, their ships floating helplessly in space outside. Emergency lights flickered on their vessels, while their crews tried to fix systems that had never broken before. High Counselor Zareth of the Viridian Collective spoke first. His energy form flickered with colors that showed confusion and worry. "How did they disable our entire fleet without firing a weapon?" Ambassador Veltar's forearms shook with anger and fear. "This is impossible. Our shields were at full power. Our sensors detected no energy weapons, no missiles, no attack of any kind." Commander Rixoth clicked his mandibles nervously. "My engineers report that all systems simply stopped working at the same moment. like someone flipped a switch across the entire fleet. That was when something impossible happened in the council chamber. A bright light appeared in the center of the room, but it was not a hologram this time. 3 humans materialized out of nothing, standing on the crystal floor as if they had always been there. The aliens jumped back in shock. Several reached for weapons that were not there. Others tried to activate security systems that would not work. The humans had somehow transported themselves directly into the most secure room in the galaxy. Admiral Lucy Kane stood in the middle, wearing her dark blue Earth uniform. Her gray hair was pulled back neatly and her eyes were calm but hard. To her left was Dr. Sam Rodriguez, a woman with short black hair carrying a tablet computer. To her right stood Captain Nick Turner, a tall man with broad shoulders and scars on his hands. "Good morning," Lucy said politely. "Thank you for agreeing to meet with us." Veltar's translator crackled with static as he tried to speak. "How did you get here? Our security systems should have stopped any teleportation technology." "Your security systems are designed to stop technology you understand," Dr. Rodriguez replied. She held up her tablet and strange symbols appeared in the air above it. "What you experienced was not an attack. We used selective electromagnetic fields delivered through quantum connections. Every ship in your fleets is completely undamaged. We simply turned off certain systems." The council chamber filled with confused sounds as each species tried to understand what the human scientist had just said. Quantum connections were theoretical science. No one in the galaxy had ever made them work in practice. Captain Turner stepped forward. His voice was rough, like he had spent years shouting orders in battle. "While you have been building bigger ships with more powerful weapons, we took a different path. We studied the universe itself." High Counselor Zareth's energy form pulsed, with curiosity. "What do you mean by studying the universe?" Dr. Rodriguez activated her tablet again. Images appeared in the air showing Earth's history of scientific discovery. 50 years ago, when you first detected our radio signals, we began preparing for this day. We knew that first contact would eventually lead to this moment. The images showed human scientists working in secret laboratories. They were not building bigger guns or faster ships. Instead, they were studying things that seemed impossible, bending space, controlling time, changing the basic rules of how matter and energy worked. "We learned that you judge other species by their military strength," Lucy explained. "Every race that joins your council does so because they are either too weak to resist or too afraid to fight back." Commander Rixoth's claws scraped against the table. "You think you can threaten us with your impossible technology?" "No threats," Captain Turner replied. "Just facts. You gave us 2 choices. Submit or face consequences. We chose a third option that you did not expect." Lucy walked closer to the alien representatives. None of them moved away, but she could see fear in their strange eyes. "We spent 5 decades preparing for this conversation. We studied every species in your council. We learned your languages, your cultures, your military tactics. Most importantly, we learned what happens to civilizations that join you." Dr. Rodriguez brought up more images. These showed the history of species that had joined the Galactic Council. The Altarians had once created the most beautiful art in the galaxy. After joining the council, they stopped making art and focused on industrial production. The Centauri had filled space with their music. Now they only played approved songs that all species could understand. "You do not create unity," Lucy continued. "You create sameness. Every species that joins your council loses what makes them special. They become copies of each other." The council members looked uncomfortable. Some shifted in their seats. Others made nervous sounds. "That is not true," Veltar protested. "We bring peace and cooperation to the galaxy." "You bring control," Captain Turner corrected. "Peace through forced conformity is not peace, it is surrender." Outside in space, something even more impossible began to happen. The U.S. Defiance, floating alone among thousands of disabled alien ships, began to change. Reality bent around it like heat waves rising from hot ground. Suddenly, there were 2 identical ships, then 5, then 10. The alien crews watched in horror as more and more copies of the human vessel appeared. Each one looked exactly real. Their sensors, the few that were still working, could not tell which ships were real and which were fake. Within minutes, 100 perfect copies of the Defiant surrounded the alien fleets. "How many ships did you really send?" High Counselor Zareth asked quietly. Lucy smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "How many do you think we need?" "Doctor," Rodriguez checked her tablet. "The demonstration is working perfectly. Our probability engines are maintaining quantum coherence across all projected vessels." The aliens had no idea what she was talking about, but they understood the message. Humanity had not sent one ship because they were weak. They had sent one ship because one ship could become any number they needed. "What do you want from us?" Commander Rixoth asked. His voice had lost all its earlier confidence. Lucy looked around the room at all the alien faces staring at her. Some showed fear. Others showed anger. A few showed something that might have been respect. "We want you to understand that humanity will never submit to anyone," she said simply. "We will trade with you. We will talk with you. We might even help you sometimes. But we will never bow to you." The room fell silent again. Outside, 100 copies of the human ship waited patiently, while thousands of the galaxy's best warships floated helplessly around them. The demonstration was not over yet. High Counselor Zareth stared at the 3 humans standing in the middle of the council chamber. His energy form had stopped flickering, and now glowed with a steady, worried light. Around him, the other alien representatives looked like they had seen ghosts. "What do you want from us?" he asked again, his voice barely above a whisper. Admiral Lucy Kane looked directly at him. Her answer was simple and clear. "Nothing. We want you to leave us alone." The council chamber erupted in confused sounds. Aliens chittered, roared, and buzzed in their own languages. Their translators worked overtime to change the noise into something everyone could understand. Ambassador Veltar's forearms waved wildly. "Nothing? You disable our entire fleet and then say you want nothing?" Dr. Sam Rodriguez stepped forward with her tablet. "We need to explain something that might shock you. Humanity never wanted to join your galactic community in the first place." She activated her device and new images appeared in the air. These showed Earth 50 years ago when the first radio signals had leaked into space. The planet looked peaceful and quiet, with no signs of the advanced technology they had just witnessed. "When you first detected our radio signals, they were accidents," Sam continued. "We were not trying to contact anyone. We were just learning how to use radio technology." Captain Nick Turner added, "When you sent your first diplomatic ships to Earth, we were curious but careful. We studied you before we answered." The images changed to show human scientists watching recordings of alien ships, alien languages, and alien cultures. Secret laboratories hidden underground were Earth's brightest. Minds worked day and night to understand what they were dealing with. "We spent years just watching," Lucy explained. "We saw what happened to every species that joined your council. We saw how they changed." New pictures appeared showing the history that had troubled the humans most. The Altarians had once been famous for their incredible art. Their paintings could make people cry with beauty. Their sculptures seemed to move with life. But after joining the Galactic Council, they stopped creating art. Their factories now made the same boring products as everyone else. The Centauri had filled space with music so beautiful that other species would travel for years just to hear a single concert. After joining the council, they only played simple songs that all species could understand and approve of. Their concerts became bland and forgettable. "Every species that joins you gives up something important," Sam said sadly. "You do not mean to hurt them, but you do. You make them all the same." Commander Rixoth clicked his mandibles angrily. "We bring peace to the galaxy. We stop wars and create cooperation." "You create fear," Captain Turner replied. "Species join you because they are afraid of what happens if they do not. That is not cooperation. That is surrender." Lucy walked slowly around the council table looking at each alien representative. "We watched the Rigelians. They used to ask questions about everything. They were curious about the universe and wanted to learn new things. After they joined your council, they stopped asking questions. They just followed the rules you gave them. The council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Some of them remembered when the Regelians had been different. Some of them remembered when they themselves had been different. We saw the pattern, Sam continued. Every species starts as something unique and special. After joining the council, they become copies of each other. They lose what made them who they are. High Counselor Zareth's energy form dimmed. We never intended for that to happen. We only wanted to bring order to the galaxy. But that is exactly what happened, Lucy said firmly. So when you gave us the ultimatum to join or face consequences, we made a decision. We would rather fight the entire galaxy than lose who we are. The images in the air changed again, showing the construction of the UES Defiance. The work had taken 15 years, and the combined efforts of Earth's greatest minds. While the galaxy thought humans were still struggling with basic space travel, they had been developing technology that seemed like magic. We did not build bigger guns, Captain Turner explained. We did not make faster ships. We learned how to change the rules that everything else follows. Outside in space, the demonstration continued. The 100 copies of the Defiance began to move in perfect formation around the disabled alien fleets. Some of the copies flew through solid objects like they were made of air. Others seemed to exist in two places at the same time. Chief Engineer Alex Turner, still aboard the real Defiance, spoke through the communication system. We call it probability engineering. We can change the chance that things will happen. We made it very unlikely that your weapons would work, so they stopped working. We made it very likely that we could be in many places at once, so here we are. The aliens had no idea what he was talking about, but they could see the results. Their most advanced science seemed like children's toys compared to what the humans had achieved. Dr. Rodriguez checked her tablet and nodded to Admiral Kane. The quantum fields are stable. We can maintain this demonstration for as long as needed. Lucy looked around the council chamber one more time. We are not here to conquer you or destroy you. We are here to make something very clear. Humanity will never submit to galactic rule. We will make our own choices about our own future. Commander Rixoth leaned forward in his chair. And if we refuse to accept this, if we decide to destroy Earth anyway? Captain Turner smiled, but it was not a pleasant smile. You are welcome to try. But remember, you are looking at what we built with 50 years of preparation and the resources of one planet. Imagine what we could build with 100 years and the resources of our entire solar system. The threat hung in the air, like smoke. The aliens realized they were not just facing superior technology, they were facing a species that had been planning for this moment since the day they had first been contacted. Humans had turned their entire civilization into a weapon pointed at galactic tyranny. What happens now? High Counselor Zareth asked, quietly. Admiral Kane straightened her uniform and prepared to give the answer that would change the galaxy forever. Admiral Lucy Kane looked around the silent council chamber. The alien representatives stared at her with expressions ranging from fear to curiosity to something that might have been respect. Outside, their fleets floated helplessly, while 100 copies of her ship demonstrated power they could not understand. What happens now depends on you, Lucy said calmly. We did not come here to start a war. We came to end one before it could begin. High Counselor Zareth's energy form pulsed with slow, thoughtful colors. You could have destroyed our fleets. You could have conquered our worlds. Why did you not? Dr. Sam Rodriguez answered. Because that would make us like you. We would become the thing we refuse to bow to. The silence stretched on for long minutes. Each alien species was thinking about what they had seen and heard. Their entire understanding of power and politics had been turned upside down in a single day. Commander Rixoth was the first to break the silence. You say you want nothing from us, but you must want something, or you would not be here. Captain Nick Turner stepped forward. We want the same thing every species wants. The right to exist without fear. The right to make our own choices, the right to be human. But we also want something else, Lucy added. We want to trade with you, learn from you, share discoveries that could help everyone. We just want to do it as equals, not as subjects. Ambassador Veltar's 4 arms moved nervously. How do we know you will not change your minds? How do we know you will not use this power to rule us? Because we had that chance today and chose not to take it, Lucy replied simply. We could have destroyed every ship in your fleets. Instead, we turned off their weapons and waited to talk. Dr. Rodriguez activated her tablet one more time. We would like to propose something new. Not a galactic government where everyone must be the same. Not a council that forces unity through rules. Something different. The images in the air showed a new kind of cooperation. Species working together on projects they chose freely. Trade agreements made between equals. Scientific discoveries shared without demands for political control. We call it the Terra Accords, Captain Turner explained. Mutual respect for each other's independence. Voluntary cooperation on things that help everyone. And most importantly, no species tries to control any other species. High Counselor Zareth's form brightened with interest. You would share your technology with us? Some of it, Sam answered carefully. The parts that help with exploration, medicine, and peaceful development. The parts that could be used as weapons stay with us. That is not fair, Commander Rixoth complained. You keep the power while we get only scraps. Lucy's voice became hard as steel. Fair would be if no one had weapons that could destroy entire fleets. But since such weapons exist, we prefer to keep them in the hands of people who have already proven they will not use them to conquer others. The debate that followed lasted for 2 full days. The alien representatives argued among themselves, and with the humans. Some wanted to refuse the offer and try to fight anyway. Others wanted to accept and hope for the best. A few suggested retreating from human space entirely. During the arguments, the UES Defiance maintained its demonstration. The 100 copies of the ship continued their impossible maneuvers around the disabled fleets. Occasionally, one would phase through an alien vessel just to remind everyone that human technology was far beyond their understanding. On the second day, something unexpected happened. High Counselor Zareth made an admission that shocked everyone in the room. We forced the ultimatum because we were afraid, he said quietly. Every species we have encountered has been either weak enough to absorb or dangerous enough that we had to destroy them. You are the first to be strong enough to resist, but peaceful enough to trust. The council chamber fell silent again. Even the other aliens looked surprised by their leader's honesty. Lucy nodded slowly. That is exactly what we hoped you would realize. We are not your enemies, unless you make us your enemies. Dr. Rodriguez smiled for the first time since arriving. The universe is big enough for all of us to exist without trying to control each other. The final negotiations took another day. The Terra Accords that emerged were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Each species would remain completely independent. Trade and cooperation would be voluntary. No one could force anyone else to do anything they did not want to do. Humanity agreed to share some of their discoveries about medicine, farming, and space travel. In return, other species would share their own knowledge freely. Most importantly, any species could leave the agreements at any time without fear of punishment. There is one more thing, Captain Turner added as the talks concluded. Any species that tries to force another species to join them or obey them will find themselves dealing with humanity directly. The message was clear. Earth had appointed itself the protector of galactic independence. Anyone who tried to build another empire would face the same demonstration that had humbled the Council. As the negotiations ended, Admiral Kane prepared to return to her ship. The 3 humans stood together in the center of the council chamber as the same impossible light began to surround them. Wait, High Counselor Zareth called out. How did you do all of this? How does your technology work? Lucy smiled as her form began to fade. We learned something that your scientists have not figured out yet. Reality is not fixed. It can be changed by those who understand it well enough. The humans disappeared, leaving behind a room full of confused but thoughtful aliens. Outside in space, the 100 copies of the Defiance slowly faded away until only the original remained. Power began returning to the alien fleets as their weapons, engines, and shields came back online. But none of them moved to attack. The demonstration was over, and its message had been received. Admiral Kane's final transmission reached every ship in the system. We look forward to peaceful relations with any species that approaches us with respect. To those who might not, remember that we sent one ship because one ship was enough. The UES Defiance folded space around itself and vanished, leaving behind a galaxy that would never be the same. Some species began researching the mysteries of quantum physics and probability engineering. Others simply marveled at the courage of a species that had faced down the entire galaxy and won through preparation, intelligence, and the absolute refusal to surrender their freedom. The galaxy had laughed when humans sent one ship. Now, they understood that sometimes one ship carrying the right people with the right ideas can change everything.